controversial, but in being so, there is much disturbance and flaring. The living pass through blue and feel raging emotions. Ideology and affect clash. The law and its thrust sear skin. In the blue phase, cruelty is explicit. There is no couching of terms. The mutating tissue of the brain beats out a cardiac rhythm. In this phase, one can see all that was formerly invisible, held back, or not in one's immediate proximity. Cesium, frost, glass, carcinogens, even the ones employed to cure cancer, grease the iris, DDTs, and other agents stick like a second skin. In short, one recognizes they sicken from their supposed cure. In an attempt to assuage a bad situation, additional bad decisions compound the hurt. It is a hog pile of nastiness, and anything you add makes it worse. This isn't hate so much as it is disgust and remorse, shame, and other low-level spewing emotions. Fallacies. Where are the safe rooms? There are no facts that feel true. The water is brackish and rotten, the sky thick with particulate matter. There is a little food if you are willing to eat from the corpses. What returns is only partially alive. The zoologists have nothing to say about this predicament. Limbs are jokes. Limbs are joking. Nocturnal water burrowing. The mountain path is strewn with moraine deposits that make every step arduous. The morphology of speech is beholden to guttural sounds, the ocean and blood. Break out at the epidermal level. Documentation has ceased. Societal assumptions become muted. Civic space has transitioned. Oceans beat against new coastlines. To say, here I am, is missing the point. One day, whooping mouths between corpses, green glow there buried. If the skin appears silky, birds of the seashore, congruent, moistening, backlash lasting between hills. She thinks this, unborn flowers, going, blooming as they fell to their deaths. Falling, the blooming, swans of winter silk on hills between dissipated landscapes, states of perceiving this. Bombs outside the range of nationalistic dream clouds oozing, drinking, splayed his stiffening body from a battlefield, a field of indifference, fast food modulate, breathtaking high decibel explosions, jeeps pinned down between mountains, some meanings obscured. Only then, and they sped away, death in an aftermath, choking, disturbed flowers of the fallen soldier, his casket marked by the economy's drastic, refined, to be disjointed, free, open, and lasting, choked up, the fallout then blooming in winter recline, managed and networked between shifts, between parties. Ripped out veins sunken deep central nervous system, swelling soles of feet edged to driveway where cars park, haul a body, a fallen soldier to be interned, swollen, angular, puffy flowers between eyes, the chrysalis. Free falling crisis, madness, opening to a hot pitch, visceral, dull, maniacal, but dead and gone and thickening. Here as today, lost to the inexplicable, deafening, bombing land, where cars are parked, backed up, the hearse, loud load, flag draped, hunched over, blackening silk on thin ice, seeing winter distance, disdain the endlessness, opening the body with anguish and distance, craving to fall out behind this blooming continuum, absorbed, restlessly emerging mountains, guerrilla mirage, then hunger, shitting one's pants, daybreak so brilliant and cool. One day languid, languishing, incense deliberate, laid out amid maroon velvet, cooling those eyes, concrete machinery, disabled, open, freeing, meanings, deadness, a walk through neckline struggle. And this one's for Ivy Johnson, sitting right over there. Did you find each other? Wallpaper, then the desk. The legacy of women built into wood. Yes, I mean it earnestly. You'll draw out a horizon in voices. Oh, her dreams. Oh, I never wanted to be lyric then, so that is now. Analog of objective, alone, not evermore by the desk. That intervention of the higher authority, ceaseless mutation, all of them at last. Being alone, a product of popular culture, yet still together by the simulacra, but it's way, way larger, real. Oh, culturally disposed by the TV or any river, that desk repeats an expression. Love, oh, not flailing, total effort in his service, heard that before. Thankfully before and now, not again now, yellow wallpaper for real. If one were to question the walls, I never wanted to be near those walls, still in consideration of the stars. Salutation with frontal eye, despondent, sinking jelly, which is strange, a compulsion to feel like the description and dress like that, slutty, internalizing desires coming from the radar. Really, fuck that in hard, wet turquoise. Then silence, mourning those missing, adding cynicism to the process of death, bombing, shelling, blasting, prepping for a protocol of pre-invasion, betray again with brutalism in the backlit face. This longer view to call the disproportion criminal nonstop deployment into an inner core dissolves. Maxing out the terrain and skin to go with the ticket, make me domestic with the cultural index. Asunder ordinary there in the supermarket, abject, pants down around the ankles, breathing deeply while the meat cutter slices thin slabs congealed around the vital organs. The peacocks as a symbol cannot withstand this burden, over and above aura and soundscape where warheads proliferate and we drop causally. A cool memory of being there, imagining suspension. In the likelihood of wire makeshift antagonizing one another through crime, bleeding the differences on skin, no longer bandaging wounds. Rooms attempt to contain the fallen. There's madness abounding, a craze of war. We discuss this in the very white museum, posthumous existence, stealing silk to fabricate the guise of political actions, offending certain decorum. The struggle we note in an abstract expressionist painting by de Kooning, wide swished blue stripes tell of marine demise, iron blood upper quadrant where the eye is sure to fall, hung so high, ventricles come toward deep in the night, concealing physical appearances. With leaves and mud, the night is posthumous, as if gravity was missing. There is silence regarding change. Missing, imploring a doctrine, walking through configured text. This document is a phoenix, a great wall of fire. My dagger is pointing at the antithesis with great regard. Motifs camouflaging where we believe we are. Here, skin traces without bandages before us, fallen, unrecoverable. The beaked masks containing herbs were worn to ward off the plague during the Middle Ages. I'd like her to be free, but a little wild. Songs form as lasting messages, a survivor, however fallen, with slight modifications, the body, a mobility that doesn't contradict space and time, but gains independence, vibrancy, all things hushed. I'm going to read 2 more of these and then get into the other part of the manuscript. Culpability, human complex accompanied by internal infrastructure. The story begins in reckoning with skin representing. People tried to escape, built into the disaster, its subcutaneous layer, gelatinous as in seeing, a waterbed to lay our coffins in. Sticky organ groves in heat, summer's tangible weather. A wound bursts open along a surgical suture where the lips were drowned in effigy. Do I mean efficacy? Displacements on the dime. Vein lines of oil piped to our standards of living with red matter, each equivalency an oblivion chamber. Sarcastic plumes raid the cloud commons, feel global disturbances through skin, sex. As tongues touch, we know we are communicating. Oscillate orb allostasis model. To be symptomatic means to not pathologize the breath. Shuttle boxes trap, galvanic skin response. See here prosody. Amazed avoidance, de-learning coping mechanisms. Welded steel frames that display eminence say, not give me, but here's what we didn't extract. Fuck that along the curve of some democratic intake. Like gold, it is a hedge. Where's my list? A brain is welling up inside our brains. This is the best gift for an earth lover like myself. Such a terrific play on Sylvia Plath. That's what she needed, a friend to give her a bell jar filled with a forest in a bell jar. An anonymous voicing announces, tell us where you are and we'll find you. Coordinates are given as up, down, left, right. Another way to cognate this is within, outside, beside, astride, dumb as it is, and vague, circulatory systems, spongy cellular exchange, and then, when I see me in your eyes, a confusion, a fusion, consumption, I'm consumed, whole creature. The index is incomplete, it doesn't include death. Again, a pure mirror surface, facing death, hence the phenomena of forgetting, nomina. Where were you, dead, death? Was death, iteration? Without such training, this bias will remain forever dormant, dominant. Feeling inferred, bustling hostility, transposition, a dream, not approximately here, as was stated in the owner's manual. Leslie, where are you? Your response, the function of the poem. This invitation from beyond the event horizon, what you asked of me last February. I would like to say to those who are listening to my lecture, it was in the abyss that we lost our walking gear, stripped down to an effective state, modulating between snow and hurricane. Evolution of the survival pod, a complexity that grows out of limbs and swagger, racing through chronology, turning on each moral instance like a swan in winter. The lost language of childhood. Then I was in my 80s hiking a mountain. It was winter, the vision of walking through stereoscopically my brain while walking up a mountain. But then to notice we live in the brain is indistinguishable from the universe, but is hidden inside the term universe, surely as lightning. The universe disorients all psychoanalytic action and plunges the brain into darkness where it doesn't fester, it swells, swelling. Darkness is ultimate velvet. Announced an ideal, a change in attitude. end up with a metaphor for self-awareness. She places her hands on the chicken, entrance to the cave. It was dead, no feathers. In this hagiography, a woman, a chicken, and a person dies. What is adumbrated is the torso representing a freestanding mobile self, a residue, metaphor for the phenomenal world, here now. I miss Leslie Scalapino, mellifluous sounding, mind tremor, occurrences, the text resurfaces. Taxidermal mountain lynx, an apple tree coated with non-reflective black paint, preparing and stuffing the skins of dead animals. In the dream, she is said to have seen both tigers, as if living. Both tigers were killed, but there is a cow. The cause is time. The radio is loud news. Leaks pour out of governments. Our government has bullied and bought off smaller countries so that these countries won't sign the ecological treaty. Pressure, pressure, environment, will it bloom? Ecocide, the way Tony Kushner put it, ice flows, glacial melt. She must cook dinner, anything in language as a basis, apparently. It is an instruction, end of the year, December now, January. I didn't really time this, so I'm just going by my order here, but stop me. It's just excruciating. The red phase. O noble one who is about to open that door, this is a moving image. Don't become a victim by succumbing to perjury. On this mountain, the trees adjudicate truth value, and there is color assigned to meanings. The father figures wear skimpy underwear, G-strings really. They are made of virtual fabric appearing like reptile skin. We live in the age of culpability, the red phase. Sex is this also easy affected. No one is exempt, though some do create this illusion through denial and economic tricks. In this human world, the mental body lives its terror. The void of the lake is impassive and unavailable except conceptually. Mirrors always stare at the individual, the funny exterior vision we place so much importance on, groom and torture. Mighty whirring birds that are mechanical and drop bombs over civilians in far-off regions, they mimic dragonflies, they mimic dawn. It is an intermediate state, though it is called war and elsewhere normativity. We must approach the blood-drinking deities. It is imminent. There is no escape clause. The 13th day is ravaging dense, and this thickness makes us feel bolder. Your body is a dark purple color now and shiny. This is not the expressionistic phase where you challenge society and fight for your rights. This is the face-to-face phase, and the animal heads of relatives lick your body from head to toe in adoration. Mother of clear light, but muted when the body is inseparable from time. If you come from North Adams, you are made of ancient rock mineral that dinosaurs crawled over with agility and raised their young. The lake above the cranium is filled with fish that drink the blood of fathers. The brain makes everything feel like a dream. Don't you feel this? It is sacred to bathe in the lake, but nearly impossible. You'd have to scale the mountain successfully, but it is an illusion, and even then, the going is tough. What grows there is impermanent, illusionary, and cuts the skin, so that most bleed to death before they get anywhere near the lake. I think I have 2 more. Mockumentary of antics that take place in the forest by Nathaniel Hawthorne, parodying puritanical conceit. Later adapted to Poets Theater by Jack Spicer. One gets the shivers understanding the prejudice contained in the script. The bylaws are adamant. The forest thickets quick to cover up any hesitancy. Don't you think the sanitized park ideal rings on? The need for thick plump cows and soy with electroshock weapons in readiness and sun blaring down on the dust-caked ranch. Such sad cows and very sick soy. A working wage for indentured service. Dream on with rainbows above the bed. You can pray on that all you want. Sob number 1, book 9. Job number 2, book 5. In the play by Jack Spicer, the forest is an untimely place, but nowhere except in our imaginations. The forest is a stand-in, a character. Character contains character. Hence ideology like a cummerbund on the waistline of a sexy youth. Chippendale stripper from a touring dance troupe in Act 2, where the priest lingers in the forest a little too long and encounters the devil, who may or may not also be wearing a satiny cummerbund. One can never dispute the sexiness of the devil. He's the best talker, thank God for that. The devil is also depicted as black racially, and it is night. The Puritans creep around the trees trying to get some savory sex or be released from their telltale strictures. The quote-unquote new world makes them mad. They have a form of madness where they feel superior, but their id knows it is all a farce. Their genocidal behavior marks them. I think this is my last one. Yes. The green face, a woman's collective, hovering, managing, sensation of the dark blue, wolf-headed one who implements openness onto the corpse so that the body will not be encumbered by propensities which stem from habits and their empire, whereas a blue owl-headed one pokes around and eats from the body nonchalantly in daylight, eating the whole subtle body, not the gross body which is everywhere decaying. It isn't quite a forest, this hyper-real elation of space, but greenness grows abundantly, and the dirt is a kind of understanding plain. If there is a void, it is due to the realization of so much color density and compression. All appears muted or non-existent or sucked into inversing light and time. On the 14th day, the 4 female doorkeepers, also issuing from within thine own brain, will come to shine upon thee. One thing notable about third-wave feminism is how individualistic time has become, still so often pitting one hairdresser against another. In this phase, these same people are referred to as hairdressers, and they wear thin sheets of midnight blue sheer fabric crafted from the dirt we once stood on. All that is recycled glows as a void because it has no texture, no light, no substance. A memory of a woman throwing out the trash at the municipal landfill, silhouette of trash and human outline, car doors open, acrid smell as material gasifies, the stuffed animals melt together into thick glue. There is a hill over there and the sunlight is filled with dust, but this chore can't alleviate the pressure of living, and as a hallucinated image projected on the ethereal body, the mind metamorphosizes into animal because the human is squeezed out, asphyxiated, unfolding out of isolation, dispersing, yes, glowing. The 4 women doorkeepers say the earth is true, existence is true. There is a gap between the understanding of reversibility and irreversibility, understandably so. One of the women is in charge of overall nature, another of the discourse that appears to transcend any specificity. She is desire without figuration. She is also analysis. Above the hill is a signifier, the efficacy of intimate history that grows thick and bunchy and fibrous like the gowns they wear, the four women holding the door. Thank you so much.